All right, folks, a federal judge is criticizing tactics used by St. Louis police officers during September protests over the acquittal of a white former police officer in the killing of a black man. Along with her rebuke of police actions, U.S. District Judge Catherine Perry issued an order blocking St. Louis police from shutting down nonviolent protests and retaliating against demonstrators with the use of chemical agents. During the protest, police sometimes fired pepper spray on crowds warning and blocked people from leaving demonstrations and then arresting them. Police were also criticized for chanting, quote, "whose streets, our streets," while making arrests. Let's go to Skype from St. Louis's Corey Bush, an organizer with the Frontline Protest Movement and a Democratic candidate for Congress. First and foremost, your thoughts on this judge's decision?
It's what we needed. Good morning. This was definitely unexpected for me. In the protest movement, especially starting from Ferguson up to now, we don't see a lot of wins for us, you know, and this one is just a step towards us getting what we're going for. Our goal is for them to stop killing us and that they recognize that Black lives have to matter in St. Louis. So this was a great win for the First Amendment and for every single protester, no matter what area we're in. This was for us.
And so when you look at the actions taken, and here are folks protesting, some issued a boycott thus far, and you had St. Louis police who were violent with folks who were simply expressing their First Amendment rights.
Yeah, and the thing is, what people need to understand is we're not protesting because we don't have anything else to do. We're protesting because an injustice occurred, and we want to see justice happen, and we never see it. And so that's the reason why we're out there. If Black bodies weren't being killed, we wouldn't have to be out there. And so we're going to be out there. We're going to be upset. We're going to yell. We're going to fuss, and we're going to stay out there. But for the police then to use tactics against us, I mean, they taunt us. I've seen my friends beaten. I've been assaulted. This is an everyday occurrence when we're out there. We can expect to be mistreated by the police, and it has to change.
Would you expect the St. Louis the city of St. Louis and the police department to appeal this decision?
Yes, because even just reading what they said, they don't believe that they've done anything wrong, and we know that because they continue to do it. They will walk up to you with a huge pepper spray bottle and just pepper spray you in your face for doing nothing. You know, they will arrest people that have nothing to do with the protest. It's almost like this RoboCop mentality. Like, we want to make sure you understand that you're beneath us. But I thought they were public servants. You know, this is a community where we should be working together, but instead we're on two different sides, as evidenced by every time we say Black Lives Matter, the response is Blue Lives Matter. That's not the response. The response is just yes.
All right, then, Corey, we surely appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Avis Jones, we want to start with you. We saw during Ferguson where literally people who were protesting, they could not even stop walking. Mm-hmm. That somehow was a violation. I didn't realize you can even take a pause and all of a sudden you can be arrested for just literally stopping for 3 seconds.
This is not a democracy. This is not how democracy works. These are tactics that are used by repressive systems. I mean, they were attacking citizens. And I'm so glad to see that the judge said, this is not right. This is something you have to change. But one of the things I'm worried about is now this police department is looking for a Department of Justice review of their procedures, and knowing who is in charge of the Department of Justice, they are looking for someone to give them cover for their racist actions. And unfortunately, they probably will get it.
And I agree with you 100%, Avis. You know, what's going on in St. Louis with the police department, it's not something that's within the bubble of St. Louis, something that's happened across the country. We saw it in Baltimore when it came to these protests, saw it in Ferguson. But the thing is this, you know, there is a First Amendment. There's such thing as a right to protest. There's such thing as a right to protest your government for grievances of redress. And I do think there needs to come a time where the local city government there that funds the police department, that manages the police department, needs to take specific action in regards to the police department. Mm-hmm. I'm an advocate for local governments passing statutes in regards to how their police departments act. If you could pass a statute regulating certain other things in your city, you could surely pass statutes regulating how your police department act.
Right. Roland, what I think that is so important about this that folks take away is that we have to replicate what we're seeing in St. Louis in terms of the victory. How can in other states and in other cities across the country that have these very similar actions, that have black folks that look like us? I was in St. Louis. You and I were in Baltimore together during the action there. And when you're at the action, things move so quickly and the officers make such quick decisions. Okay, you know what? We're going to put a curfew in 2 minutes and y'all need to be out of here in 2 minutes, which is like, where did that come from? Or if you're having the protest and you're marching and you're screaming and you're in the middle of the street and you're blocking traffic. Okay, now that y'all in the middle of the traffic, we want you all to get on the sidewalk. If you're not on the sidewalk, we're going to arrest you. And so folks are getting arrested and moved around for no particular reason. Like Avis was mentioning earlier, it is strategic. But let this be an inspiration to other communities, for other Black Lives Matter groups, for other folks who are doing protests in the community, on the city, and the ground, that can make sure that they are also holding their police accountable.
Well, and also making it perfectly clear we still have laws in this country, even if our police state wants to ignore them.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no.
That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.